Greetings, Ben J from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, a follow-up on that Marx motor that I resurrected from the dead. I did a video on this yesterday. As you can see, this motor was just absolutely trashed. E-units missing, both of the coil wires were broken. So put a few minutes time into this and actually got it repaired and running. So the question is, what do you do with it? I looked through my junk box and came up with a 490 shell. Now, I got a bunch of these, broken on the corner like so many of them are. So a lot of times I'll buy them for parts, or I'll buy them to get the motor to put into something else, and it leaves me a surplus of these shells. So for now, I'm just going to take this motor, put it in this shell. Now, this is something that's built completely out of junk. This motor was trashed. Body's trashed. The nice thing about them, of course, is you put a couple minutes work into them, and you can take an old trashed motor, get it running, mount it in an old trashed shell, and you have a running locomotive that costs you virtually nothing. As you can see, it doesn't take much to assemble a running Marx locomotive from parts. And like I said, this motor was trashed, and it was never going to run again. And of course, this shell has seen better days as well. The point being, let me pull this camera off the tripod. The point being that in a matter of a few minutes, you can take some real junk and turn it into a running locomotive. So, put this on the rail. That's 10 Lionel cars. Let's see how this runs. And as you see, couple of minutes of my time, and you have a running locomotive. Is it perfect? Nope, far from it. Made completely out of junk. The point being, it's running and it's pulling 10 Lionel cars, and it costs virtually nothing. Okay, that's about 35% power, as you can see, so more than enough power to pull virtually anything on this layout. It runs forward only, and the motor's been mounted in a shell with a broken corner on the cab. But even so, you have a running locomotive. I don't think anybody would object to owning this. It's far from perfect. The point being, of course, is that it's up and running really, really well, pulling 10 cars made completely out of junk. So it's a great way to get into running model trains. And you can do this stuff on an absolute shoestring budget. You look around, you can buy some real junk on eBay, and a few minutes of your time, a couple of parts if you need them, and you can get some really decent running locomotives at an absolute bargain price. As you see, that's running just absolutely perfectly. No problem at all. And that's at 30%, 35% power maybe. But it runs nice, it looks acceptable, far from perfect, but you can't beat the fact that this is running just absolutely superbly. As you can see, that's running just absolutely splendidly. Like I said, this motor was going to wind up as parts, but a few minutes work, and it's up and running. It runs forward only, and it's mounted in an old junk shell. The thing is, you now have a running locomotive where you started with nothing but junk. So anyway, just a quick follow-up on this. I gotta say it, don't overlook the junk. You can find some really decent stuff at some really, really low prices if you're willing to get your hands dirty, like I said. So this locomotive is up and running. For now, I'll just throw it up on the shelf. When I need another motor, I'll pull it out of that. But in the meantime, it just goes on the shelf, and it is a running locomotive. So I just want to do a quick follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.